Guys, my life is so chaotic right now. It's ridiculous. I know from the background it looks very chill, but if you step outside my room, it is straight up chaos. Anyways, we'll get into that in a second. Today is very fitting. The episode topic has to do with a lot of the things that's going on in my life right now. Maybe not for everyone else. I know some of you guys out here are living very stable, healthy, good lives. But at the moment, I am not living that life. And so if you're in the same boat as me, this episode is 130% for you. And this is a little bit for myself, honestly, because I need to remind myself what I need to keep doing in order for myself to stay sane for the next 3 weeks-ish. Actually, I would say like 1.5 weeks, because I'm going to like nip this in the butt and make sure everything gets sorted out as soon as possible, because that's just the way I am. I just cannot stand being in the middle of like chaos. But anyways, yeah, so today's episode is how to survive, how to stay afloat, how to literally, honestly, just thrive when everything is falling apart. Maybe physically actually falling apart around you, or just like mentally falling apart around you. And maybe it's family things. Maybe you're like me and you're moving, or friends, or your job, or like everywhere in your life is just like not doing well. Which sometimes that's the case because life is very up and downs, and you're not going to be lucky enough to have a very stable life. Let me just tell you, if you've been really, really stable for most of it, I'm going to be very shocked, because I'm sure that something is coming for you, which is not always a bad thing, because when things get shaken up, it's a chance to grow, it's a chance to learn more about yourself. But anyways, Hello Buffalo. Okay, so my high, which will explain a lot about how I'm feeling right now and where I am. My high is that on Saturday night, I finally got to just lay in my bed. I mean, straight up just lay in my bed and watch videos, stare at my ceiling. I finally got to do that for like 3 hours, and it was so good. Like spending time with myself, not having to do work. Not gonna lie, I did have like thoughts in the back of my head about how I had 10 other things I should have been doing, but I was like, I need to not do anything, or else I will not be okay. I cannot be running around like a chicken without its head for this long and still do it for the next 2 weeks without somehow burning out or literally having a panic attack in front of everyone. I mean, I literally almost had a panic attack the other day because Tiff, I don't even know if I explained this story in any of my episodes, because so much has been happening. I don't know what I actually choose for my Hello Buffalo, but when Tiff and I were signing off our apartment, which is very exciting, we signed it off, we finally locked down a place, and it was crazy because we spent so much time and energy touring apartments, and it's not the same as like touring apartments in a suburban area where you have a car. Here in New York, you have to physically take the train. It's like a 30-minute commute, and like, it's just a lot. And so it was chaotic. And when we were trying to figure out whether or not to sign this one apartment, somebody else had asked for the application. So it was kind of like first come, first serve, who was going to take it. And we're like, do we actually want it? Like, it was very, very crazy. And it just happened to be that when we were making that decision and having to decide, I was stuck in a subway during peak hours, and the train was packed. I mean, we were like sardines in there, and it was a lot because I'm claustrophobic, and that was not fun. I was literally like pasted against the window, and every other person was also pasted against me, and I was not having it. I was stressed already, having to deal with calling Tiff and texting Tiff in between having no service, because there's no service in the train. If you've never been to New York, you literally have to wait until the stop to get service, and then you can text people and get all your messages and whatever. And so I'm like trying to text her while I'm on the train, because I'm trying to get to another house to take a look at. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to get out of this train right now, because I was going to literally just hyperventilate in that car. And yeah, thank God I didn't. I was fine. I actually got out of the train and then we like signed it and it was fine. But crazy, chaotic. I don't know where I was going with that story. I just wanted to share it just in case I didn't share it. Okay, so my low is what I just mentioned in the beginning of this episode. It looks like a tornado hit everywhere else besides Tiff and my rooms. I know you guys are pretty much listening to this moving story and apartment hunt situation in little pieces, because that's how I've been updating you guys through these podcast episodes. But in, you know, the YouTube typical fashion, I do have a moving video planned, and so that will be up very, very soon. I will get it up as soon as I'm done moving. There's no way it's gonna happen in the next week, so just be ready for that. We don't have a table for eating dinner. Our couch is flipped on its side. There's so much stuff on the countertops because we don't have anything to like we have no pantry, storage rack or anything like that, so everything's kind of just laid around in piles. Yeah, so we need to get that sorted out this week because we're moving finally on Saturday. Like, I cannot wait to just get out of this place and be in a new place. Yeah, not fun. I know everyone goes through it when they're moving, but this is my first time actually moving, and also thankful that I don't have like kids or a family to move or a whole house to move, and it's just my tiny 11 by 9 feet bedroom that I need to move. Yeah. And for my buffalo, I realized that if you literally take anything boring or like mundane or something you don't want to do and you invite friends to do it, it instantly becomes more enjoyable. And I realized I should be doing that more often. So this past weekend, I helped Mikey and Tony move into their new apartment, and it was so easy and fun. Like, I know a lot of people talk about moving and say how stressful it is, and yes, there's a bunch of parts that are stressful and that you might not be able to invite people to do it with you, and it wouldn't make sense to invite people to do it with you, so you wouldn't do that. But in this case, for moving like the boxes out of our apartment and moving it into the new one, they invited us, and they obviously saved a lot of money by doing that, but it was so fun. I think that everyone should do that. If you have like something really sucky that you don't want to do, just like invite someone to do it with you, because it's just fun. And like if you have like really down friends and like friends that are just there for you, they'll like help you out, and they will just want to be there to have a good time. And so that was the case, and I really liked it. And afterwards we got root beer floats from a diner, and it was so yum, and it was just fun. Hi guys, I think this episode ranks as the most chaotic filming process because I actually filmed the episode on Monday. Well, the first part, which is the high-low buffalo, and then the second part I recorded that night, but I decided to change up the episode topic just because I was also just really tired that day, so it like makes sense. But then now looking back on it, I'm like, I don't know why I did that. I actually want to finish out the episode, and so I'm recording this on a completely different day, and I'm just gonna finish the episode. During this time of chaos, it's really important to overall be gentle with yourself. That's self-explanatory because it's chaotic. What did you expect? And when things are actually chaotic in your life and you're trying to get grounded, you shouldn't be forcing yourself to overachieve or do too much, right? Instead, the focus should be on just staying grounded, because that alone is not a default anymore. A huge part of doing this is sticking to your routine. And so even though I am tattooing, even though there's a million things going on, I am still waking up and sleeping around the same times, going to the gym as much as I possibly can, and making sure my bed's made. I just made it right before this video because I walked in my room and I was like, no way. If my bed is a mess, then this day is over. Like, I need to make my bed. I made my bed and now everything's better in my life. Yeah, just try not to skip on the routine, because routine is, I would say, like almost a human essential, and it really makes you feel you know what to do when you wake up in the morning, and you know what to do when you're going to bed, and what to expect the next day. And also, you can't just be constantly thinking about what to do next every single moment of every single day, because that is too much. You are going to hit a point where you're making so many decisions in your day that you're going to burn out and you just can't make decisions anymore. And routine is a huge part of that. So save that brain space to make those decisions that are more important and that require actual brain space, instead of deciding like, oh, like, should I get up and brush my teeth first, or should I go to the gym first? Like something like that. I also really like to do nostalgic things when things get chaotic, because if I do things that are nostalgic and focus on a little bit of the past or bring in the past, I can focus on something that I know for sure about that is a lot more concrete because the past already happened. I'm talking listening to nostalgic music. So I've been really listening to my Spotify curated playlist, the nostalgic 2000s mix. That's been really good. I also have playlists that I created myself that are oldies. And when I listen to that music, I just get brought back and I'm reminded of a time where I remember what happened. Everything was a lot more sure. I was younger, not worrying about too many things. And so hearing that music makes me feel like things are going to be okay. And it reminds me that I do know what's going on. Even though it's the slightest bit, I have still my past. I still have this current moment. And even though the future is uncertain, not everything is completely uncertain. I also like to eat at nostalgic places, like going to coffee shops that I always go to, eating things that I always love to eat, home-cooked meals, getting as close to that home-cooked meal, going to like diners or like old places that just have a lot of history and don't feel like they're going to change too much, just because, you know, you already have so much changing and going on in your life at the moment. So going to places that are the complete opposite, where they're old and they've looked the same forever, they taste the same, whatever, that really helps me stay okay during these times. I actually have been just eating the same exact meal over and over, like chicken noodle soup, for the past 2 weeks. But chicken noodle soup for me is really nostalgic because I would eat it when I would have sick days, or when I was really young. My mom used to own like this sandwich shop, and one of their things was the chicken noodle soup. So that's nostalgic for me. And then finally, there's two other things that I focus on. One is the good things that are happening. So what's going right? Focus on those things so that you know that not everything is completely bad. It's just basically, this whole podcast section is just me telling you to just focus on the things that you know and to fall back on them. Don't try to create new uncertainty, and instead really lean on the other things. And another thing is, when these feelings of uncertainty come up, focus on it. Let it come up. Let it sit there, give it its time, because it needs an outlet. It needs to get out of you. If you don't let it out, it will literally just sit inside of you like baggage, and you're going to have to carry it with you during these like terrible, annoying, confusing sets of times. And so you don't want to be carrying that. Sit there and just be sad, and just let whatever comes up. And then from there, you can move on. So it's going to be a lot of high and lows, but you have to let the lows happen in order to get up to the highs. If you just force yourself to stay, you know, if a low is coming and you're like, no, I don't want to hit it, you're just going to stay at like the stagnant place, because you can't go up if you're not going down. And yeah, so I actually did this part so fast. I don't know why I made it such a big deal the first day, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it's super short, But it is also, I think, the last episode I'm going to do in this apartment. This is probably the last time you're going to see this background. New things are coming. It's going to be a completely different background, I think, for the next episode. If it's not the next episode, then the next episode will be the last time you'll see this apartment for reals, because we're moving out. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys like the episode. Please share this with other people. I also created this Google form. I know this is like so cheesy, and it's like honestly kind of traumatic because of school, but I created this Google form, and it has literally one question, and it's just for anyone to submit feedback, opinions, suggestions for episodes, literally anything. Please put it there. It's completely anonymous. I cannot tell who the hell put it there. Honestly, a bot can put a response and I wouldn't be able to know, but I would love to hear it, what you think. Please share the podcast episode. I would love more people to join the community, and don't forget to like and rate it on Spotify if you're listening there. It's also on Apple Podcasts. It's also on my YouTube channel. You can listen to it 3 times, or you can listen to it once on any of these platforms. And yeah,